Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. This time I've got something a little bit different for you. We're going to be doing a movie review. It's not any comic book movie, but it is a comic book movie, but it's not in theaters. It's out on Blu-ray and home video. This is Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. It's one of DC's animated movies. I've been enjoying them for a while now. This one I liked a little bit more than the last Teen Titans movie, which was Teen Titans versus the Justice League. I felt that one couldn't really decide what it wanted to be. Teen Titans vs. the Justice League, quick reminder, it was the establishing movie for the Teen Titans, except because we're in this DC animated universe, you have Damian Wayne and Blue Beetle on the team as in this incarnation. And that movie was them establishing the Teen Titans, not for the first time, but again, with this newer, younger group of heroes. And then they went up against Trigon, and Trigon took a hold of the Justice League for a short period of time, and they fought each other. But it wasn't really a true versus movie. It was just, I think, something to see how well this Teen Titans movie would sell, similar to the way they had Justice League sort of Atlantis, which really was an Aquaman movie with a little bit of Justice League thrown in based on the comic book crossover by Jeff Johns. So they're kind of putting their feelers out there. Right now, their two main titles in the DC animated line are a Justice League movie or a Batman movie. And they kind of switch between one or two of those. You know, they try and do like 3 or 4 a year. And the Teen Titans, it seems like it's been successful because they made a Justice League, a second Teen Titans movie, which is this one, Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. So this is based off the Wolfman Perez, Marv Wolfman and George Perez storyline from the 80s in the new Teen Titans, also called The Judas Contract, where you have a new Titan of the name of Tara. Here in the movie, she's played by Christina Ricci, and she joins the team, and they kind of go through their normal stuff, and then, you know, things take a turn for the worst. Things involving Brother Blood. Deathstroke is really good in this movie. I have not read the original Judas Contract storyline, so I don't have a lot of things to compare it to. But I do know that I enjoyed this Teen Titans movie more than I did the last one. This one had a little bit more of the teenage angst angle. It had, you know, a lot more interactions with the characters, and it was a little bit less plot. Like, it almost felt you had a beginning area in the movie where the Titans are fighting Hive, and that was like your opening action scene. And then it kind of got slow in the middle where it was just kind of some teen drama stuff, which was fine and enjoyable because the characters are so good. And then the last 30 minutes of the film was like the final battle with Brother Blood and Deathstroke and the Teen Titans and all the things that are going on there. So for usually these are like an hour and 20 minutes, not quite an hour and a half, so not quite feature length, but almost. But there was a little part in the middle where I kind of got bored and was like, where is this going? But all in all, I felt it was a much better Teen Titans movie than the last one they had. And it was definitely more watchable than The Killing Joke. I might go back and review a lot of these Blu-rays. It seems like there's not a lot of you know, reviews for them or things going on like this. The interesting thing that DC is doing with these animated movies is that a lot of them take place in a shared universe, in a timeline, so to speak, starting with Justice League War. They introduced Damian into the Batman films with Batman, Son of Batman, and they had Batman versus Robin, which came out, which kind of continued that storyline. And the same Damian character, the same voice actor, is in the Teen Titans movie, the original one, Teen Titans versus Justice League, and he's in here. He's not on the front. That is Nightwing. Nightwing is in this movie, not really for any particular purpose other than for somebody for Starfire to have sex with and make out with and make awkward phrases and stuff like that about. It's not really clear why he's hanging around. It's not really clear if there's a reason for it other than Nightwing first appeared in the Judas Contract storyline back in the comics. Like, that's where Dick Grayson stopped being Robin, took his Robin costume off, gave it back to Batman, and then came out with his own Nightwing costume, which in the 80s was very disco-y. Just Google Nightwing first costume. It's terrible. Big collar, yellow wings or whatever. It's really, really weird. So I think that's why he's in this movie. And in the last Teen Titans movie, it was a little weird because Starfire is kind of this older, more mature. She's probably like in her 20s or something like that. And everybody else here is obviously a teenager, hence the name. One thing that was weird and cool about this movie is it started out with a flashback sequence of the original Teen Titans, in this universe anyway. It was Dick Grayson as Robin. Bumblebee was there, which she's not anywhere else in the movie, and they don't explain where she goes. Speedy was there, who was Green Arrow's sidekick. He's also known sometimes as Red Arrow or Arsenal. Beast Boy was also there. I think they called him Changeling. He was still acting very, very young, and they were fighting some people, and then all of a sudden Starfire comes out, and that was kind of like the origin story for Starfire, at least how she met the Teen Titans. She kissed Dick Grayson Robin and learned the English language that way, as is her people's custom. So that was that. What was weird about it is that Beast Boy is in that part of the movie, and then it says 5 years later, and Beast Boy is still an immature teenager 5 years later, hitting on Tara and acting like a clown and just being kind of all around the annoying character, which is kind of his role, at least in his animated movies and probably the TV show, the old cartoon on Cartoon Network. I never watched that cartoon. I was a little bit too old for it when it came out, but it's weird to call that the old cartoon. Anyway, I liked Teen Titans Judas Contract. I highly recommend it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. There's plenty of action. The character moments are good. What I really like about these Blu-rays sometimes, though, is the special features. And that's why I buy them on Blu-ray and not off iTunes, although I think iTunes is starting to put them on iTunes Extras and stuff like that, so I might switch to that. But I do like having the physical case. I get the digital copy with Ultraviolet, which I kind of prefer to the iTunes since I don't have an Apple TV, and I use my Xbox and Roku, and with Vudu app or the Flickster app, I can get to Ultraviolet and watch them anywhere there. And not have to stick it in my Blu-ray player, although usually I do if I'm home. Anyway, going to the special features, the cool thing about this, if you're a big Wolfman Perez Teen Titans fan on that run from the 80s, there's a 30-minute retrospective with literally, it's Marv Wolfman, George Perez sitting in a restaurant, talking to each other, reminiscing about the Titans. There's cutaways to interviews with them, talking fondly about one another. Mostly it's just them giving each other a nice back rub for 30 minutes, not really saying anything negative about one another or what they did or didn't, or what they didn't like about working with each other. Mostly about what they did like working on with each other, what they accomplished, what they thought they wouldn't happen, the things that surprised them. If you're a huge Wolfman Perez fan, I don't know if this will be anything that neither of them has said before. If you've read a lot of interviews with them or talked to them at cons, all this stuff might be ancillary. It all might be old information. It all might be, a repeat saga for you. But the cool thing is to have these two creators talking to each other for 30 minutes on camera and just have that as like a slice of comic book history. There's not a lot of comic book creator interviews, creator to creator. A lot of it is on the web, and at least it used to be. When before Newsarama got bought out like 2 times ago, it was a great interview site. He had long-form interviews. The Cup of Joe interviews for Comic Book Resources before that site moved to just be CBR.com, which is a piece of shit. And I really hate that site now. It's just lists. 15 best, 15 worst, 15 reasons this, 15 reasons that. That's a whole separate topic. But I do like these features because there's not a lot of times where you can actually see the comic book creator on a video platform. Sometimes it's just in letters pages, but it's nice to it feels like comic books are getting the attention they deserve. And if they only do DC creators through these animated movies that are adaptations of other works, you know what? I think that's okay with me. Because at least we get to see them. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting about that. So a lot of them have pretty good things about them. There's also a 10-minute feature about the origin of Deathstroke You have Marv Wolfman and George Perez talking about why they created him the way they did, the things that they think are interesting about the character, and they go through a little bit of his history, but not too much. There's not really a lot of promo for the current comic book line, which I find kind of weird. Deathstroke has a comic book out right now written by Christopher Priest. Some like it, some don't. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't really like the way that he structures his narrative. It's kind of unclear to me sometimes when things are a flashback and things aren't, because a lot of the times in the issue you're jumping around in the present storyline anyway to 5 different places, and then they'll throw in a flashback here and there. So that is a little bit confusing for me. But all in all, Teen Titans Judas Contract, I think it's worth the $20 to buy if you like these type of DC animated movies. It's definitely better than some of the past ones. If you're just interested in the Titans at all, definitely give it a rent. You know, Redbox it or spend some extra bucks and get it digitally on Vudu or iTunes. Definitely worth your time checking out. One of the better ones they've done recently. So thank you all, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you later.